based on a plot.
I did in the first paragraph, like they tell you who Salvador is and who the other characters were, and then they talk about how he was like helpful around his house.
Yeah.
I was telling them.
For the first part, the first paragraph is the introduction of the story, and it tells about how Salvador is responsible and keeps his siblings safe and cares for them without complaining. So that's what I did for that one.
Yeah, and then, did you think Salvador would be a responsible adult?
I thought that, yeah, he would be a super responsible adult because he already shows so much responsibility caring for his brothers. And I said I came to this conclusion because in the text it says how he helps his brothers with like feeding them and bringing them to school and stuff like that.
Yeah. I thought that he would be helpful around the house, practically the same stuff you did. He's like really helpful, and it already said that he helped clean up the house and was like someone who helped around his house.
Okay, and then this one says list or highlight, I don't know how to say that, well, the author's verbs in the description. What did the verbs suggest about the character?
I did, it said he like slips away in the shadow, and he grows smaller and smaller to the eye, and I thought those were ones. It said he like slips away, so that would be a verb.
I thought that the author feels bad for Salvador because the author uses phrases like apologizes each time it speaks, and inside that body too small to contain the 100 balloons of happiness. So I feel like he feels bad for Salvador because he has to go through a lot.
Yeah. And note each paragraph begins with Salvador. What is the translation of the word? I looked it up and I couldn't really find anything that was like that meaning like for the name. What did you get?
Savior, I mean savior.
Oh, okay.
And so I did Salvador translates as savior, and I think it is a great name for him because he is like an angel on earth to his brothers, because without Salvador his brothers would be like without help, and since they're young they would have to do everything on their own, and that would be really hard for them.
Yeah. So that's
The second reading. Do we do the third reading too?
okay. When it asks you what the repetitive
No, the
elements.
first one.
Oh yeah, put one line under imagery and partness around figurative language. What'd you put for that one?
I just have that in the story.
Yeah, I did too. I highlighted when he like grows smaller and smaller to the eye, dissolves into her eyes and flutters in the air before disappearing like a memory of Christ.
Yeah, and then I underlined 100 little fingers of red, green, yellow, blue, and nub of black sticks tumble and spill and be on the asphalt puddles, because that is like imagery, and it talks about, it like describes what it looks like when the crayons go over the road. And then I underlined where the homes are the color of bad weather, because that's also imagery.
Yeah. For the second question, when it asks what repetitive elements are found in the passage, I said in the passage it talks a lot about how Salvador kind of like disappears without anyone knowing.
Yeah, I had, there was a lot of imagery in the story, which they said before, but there was, I don't remember what it's called. It's like a simile, I think, because it says, or like a metaphor, because it says limb stuffed with feather and rags, which means he's like really skinny, and in the cage of this chest where something throbs with both fists and knows only what Salvador knows. And I thought that it was like a lot of figurative language in it.
Yeah. What is the significance of caterpillar in the first line?
I said that I think the word caterpillar refers to the fact that Salvador will grow to be a good person. He will grow from being a caterpillar to like a butterfly.
Yeah. I said that too, and I said that I said like what you said, and then I also said like when it says he like slips away, like a caterpillar, like it's quiet and you can't really see it, so they kind of just slip away without anyone knowing.
Yeah. Okay, and then look at the details, imagery, and figurative language you marked earlier. List elements you find particularly effective and discuss the meaning of each. I said I think imagery is very important in the story because it helps you visualize what's going on. And then I said I also like the metaphors because they give you a different way to look at things.
I said like the similes are important because they give you detail and like they show you who Salamander like was, and without them you wouldn't know like he sneaks away, and like you wouldn't know how like helpful he was, and it gives like more detail.
Yeah. Okay, the last question: what words could you replace with synonyms? What synonyms? What impact would the change of words have on the meaning?
I said, what'd you say?
I said that in the last paragraph it says that Salvador scuttles away, and you couldn't like change that word, but I think you could add hastily before it, which would show that Salvador cares about his siblings and wants to get them home quickly. Like he doesn't just
Yeah. He like helps get them home quickly, and he doesn't like just he like makes sure they get home. And for the discussion
do I
preparation,
forget that part? Is it?
I didn't really know like what the word I picked was at first, but then when I like looked it up, I understood like what it was and what it meant, and it helped me figure out like how it like affected the story.
Yeah. Because like the words in here are pretty big words, so like if you understand what they mean, then it helps you visualize what's going on in the story.
Yeah, and it helps you like understand what more is happening
Yeah.
than just.
Okay. What questions did you ask during a discussion? And I had, what does the last sentence of the story mean?
I think it means like it says more of like how Salamander acted, and it said like he grows smaller and smaller, and I thought that referred to like the caterpillar saying, like he would grow up and become a butterfly. That's what I thought it.
What's one of your questions?
I said, would you say that Salamander would be a good parent to his children?
I think that if he ever does become a parent, I think he would be a really, really good parent because he already cares so much about his little brothers, and he doesn't complain at all when he has to take care of them. And I feel like that's a good trait to have when you're a parent.
Yeah, and I think he takes care of them really well, and he makes sure they're okay, and he doesn't just like walk away and leave them. He like always makes sure he knows
He
where
puts
they
their
are.
needs before his.
Yeah.
And then, okay, the last one was research the topic, author, or background of your passage. What information did you learn that could contribute to the discussion? I found the author's website, and it said that her work explored the lives of the working class. And Salvador, he's like, his family doesn't have that much money, so he has to just work things out on his own, and they are kind of alone.
Yeah, I found the same passage, and it was like telling about how the author was like impacted the story, and how it was kind of like her as a kid, but like changed it into a different character. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's it.
Yep, that's it.